Hello everybody, this is GPD Handheld here, and today I'll be testing a new game for the GPD Win 2. So before we start, let's show that I'm actually playing on the Win 2 itself. As usual, we'll be testing a game on a GPD Win 2. So I will make some more GPD XT Plus videos, but for the moment there are some games that I want to test on the GPD Win 2. That's why we are going to test the Final Fantasy XIII for today. So before we start, let's look at my overclock for the GPD Win 2 for this recording. So the overclocks that I did for this game is I put the turbo max power to 11 watts. As you can see, using the Intel Xtreme Tuning utility. You guys can download these tools from Intel website. Just Google search Intel Xtreme Tuning utility for easy overclock for the Win 2. So without further ado, let's start with Final Fantasy XIII. So before we start, there is something that I want to show you guys as well. That is to show you guys the configuration for the GPD for Final Fantasy XIII running on a GPD Win 2. So let's try. Let's go to our Steam folder, Steam apps, Commons, Final Fantasy XIII, and let's start the launcher. As you can see, here's the setting that I use for Final Fantasy XIII. So the setting is basically the lowest. Just show you guys that resolution cannot be changed in this case. That is 1280 by 720. Controller setting is as usual. Shadow resolution, I've put it on the lowest. That is 512 by 512 to in order to improve performance for this game. By the way, this game is not a really good port for PC. That's why the game is not running as well as it should be. Future games such as Lightning Returns of Final Fantasy XIII runs slightly better than Final Fantasy XIII original on Windows. So we also see that there's a multi-sampling anti-aliasing solutions, but there is no off option, so we will have to leave it as a default in this game. So without further ado, let's start the game. Alright, just let the game runs right now. So very lovely games to play on the go. Definitely better than playing on the PS3 or the PC itself, because this type of games usually is better suited for portable gaming. So let's start. Unfortunately, here no volume here. So let's go back to our system. Try to turn up the volume. Yeah, that is slightly better. As you can see, the games are working fine. In this case, we'll start a new game. So let's start a new game. Normal mode. Yeah. So we have greeted by these beautiful movies. As you can see, the frame rate is shown here, just in this area that we are currently running at 30 frames per second. But this is a pre-rendered cutscene, so the performance should be running well at 30 frames per second without any major lag, since it's just currently playing back a video file. So in order to speed up the gameplay, I will try to skip this video. So just give me a moment. I'll skip the game to its cutscene to gameplay straight away. So let's do it. So we will resume right now, and we'll press skip. Since keyboard control is currently shown, I have to guess which button to press in order to skip the video. So the button to press is select. I've pressed select and video escape. So right now we are going into game, and here's the action, the real action. As you can see, performance is not near the 30 frames mark, but it's around hovering around 20 to 25 frames, with occasionally go up to 30 frames per second. Just to remind again that this game is not a very good port, that's why the performance is just acceptable in this case. We are running at 20 frames per second right now, 27 frames, and performance just varies from time to time in this case. So we are currently in battle scene, and the performance is around 20 to 21 frames. Definitely you can feel the lag, but this type of game is playable even on a slightly lower frame rate. If there is a way to, in order to reduce the resolution, or to reduce game resolution, there might be slightly better frame rates, but what we can see right now is the game is running at 720p, and there's no options to lower the internal resolution of this game. That's why we are suffering from slight frame rate problems, but the case is not too bad. As you can see, in movie again, in-game video again, cutscene, we are having 20 to 25 frames, with when it goes up to 30 frames from time to time. So a very beautiful action choreographed film. I think this cutscene sequence is in-game and not CGI. Alright. We'll continue with this battle now. During battle scenes, the games tend to drop in frame rate. As you can see, it goes to 17, 29 frames, 27 frames, 22 frames. It's not very consistent, but it is still playable. Not too worried about that. Still a very nice game to play on the go, with amazing visual, but a slightly more linear gameplay of Final Fantasy XIII compared to more recent series or the older PlayStation 1 era games that is more free to explore. In the future, I'll be looking at Final Fantasy XII that is recently released on Steam to test on how well it runs. As you can see, very nice graphics. Smooth game, not too smooth gameplay, but extremely beautiful graphics, and it is one of the best looking PS3 era games, especially with a very nice CGI cutscene. But the sad news is it is suffering from not a very good port. It's just an okay port from Square Enix to make money from Steam gamers. If you have a high-end PC, you can run this game at up to 60 frames per second, if I'm correct. And even on that, there will be drops from time to time, as I've tested on my main gaming PC. I kind of look like the face of Satch here. Just to show you guys, I'm running at a Japanese version. Very nice noise. Very nice voiceover. Yes, I just don't like inverted scheme, so I will set it up to all standards. Yes, I'm actually creating a new save just for this playthrough, just for this test. So my main game is slightly further behind, but for this testing purpose, I started a new game. As you can see, performance tanks a little bit, but it's still hovering around the 20 to 30 frames per second mark. Not too bad, but definitely playable, but it is not perfect. And in this case, I have done my overclocks even. So if you guys are on stock, you guys might have to overclock in order to play this. On stock, probably you'll get around 20 frames per second. So in this case, overclocks helps a lot in terms of improving playability. Alright, we got this again, these two guys. Psychom Warden. Alright. Basically, for this game, there's a lot of running in a straight line, with a slight variance in terms of direction that you guys are going towards. So alright. Let's show you guys the sequence in terms of video. We are going still around 20 to 30 frames mark. I think the games are mostly stabilized at this frame rate for the majority of time. Alright. Blaze is kinda the double attack. The attack multiple enemy tactics. Instead, the attack is just attack a single enemy command. So in order, when you have plenty of enemy on the screen, doing blitz might do more damage to more enemies in one time. Alright. Around 20 to 25 to 30 frames per second. We are still getting that kind of frame rate. Not much improvement. Oh, we have a flying enemy this time. So the first we'll be going to do the blitz, and going to do attack on this aerial guy. Yep. Alright, we get a stagger. we are still seeing a frame rate, not so frequent frame rate, not so consistent frame rate. So right now I will be alright. Still very nice graphics. 3 more animes to go. So let's do blitz. So in this case we get do more damage to more enemies at one time. Alright, nice battle. Alright, we are in another cutscene. Oh, it is a preemptive strike. It's not. We are not reached that cutscene yet. Alright, let's use a potion. We are still getting around 20 to 30 frames most of the time, so there is a little we can do to improve the frame rate. But the good news is the game is not actually slowing down when the frame rate drops, since the game is not tied to frame rate. At least it is a good news that we are still getting playable, the game is still playable, even though we get a lower than usual frame rate. Very nice cutscene. Alright. Very nice graphics. I believe we are in a FMV right now, since our frame rate stabilized. And with such, I will end this video for the day. And thanks for watching. So before I end this video, just to let you guys know that I will still be making a GPD XT Plus video, and also GPD Win 2 video from time to time. So if you guys have any suggestion of games that you guys wanted to test, please do let me know. Currently I'm thinking about testing more XT Plus games in terms of Android, including doing a new video on Rules of Survivor. And let's think of any games that we can play on Win 2. Alright, thanks for support, and have a nice day.